unless we read the Book of Mormon and give heed to its teachings. The Lord has stated in the 84th section of the Doctrine and Covenants that the whole church is under condemnation, and this condemnation resteth upon the children of Zion, even all. The Lord continues, and they shall remain under this condemnation until they repent and remember the new covenant, even the Book of Mormon, and the former commandments which I have given them, not only to say, but to do, according to that which I have written.
Travis Wayne Goodsall. Knowing that the Book of Mormon is in the learning of the Jews, and that Joseph Smith's religion was therefore New Israelite, a pre-Babylonian captivity Jewish Egyptian religion, that its prophecy and revelation concerning visions involving translation of Paleo-Hebrew and Egyptian, both of which had gone extinct. I now see the scriptures in a whole new paradigm as I am witnessing the fulfillment of those Jewish authors' prophecies, and even the prophecies of Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon, that because of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints blinding me with Christianity I never saw before. And so now, going over the scriptures, I see amazing stuff. So like when Jasmine asked about Jeremiah and the Christmas tree, I, with my knowledge of the bigger picture, was able to see the bombshell in Jeremiah. And so now that the latter days are over with, and we're just waiting for the final events, the fall of the great and abominable church, which is Christianity. And I have known, and been doing the videos for all these years, that the Jews intended it to be for Mormons, that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint Christianity is the great and abominable church led by Lucifer. And Mormons get upset, but are you seriously going to deny the inverted pentagrams on Brigham Young's temples? Dear God. Just, I can't believe that Mormons are that stupid, because I know that they purposely do not study, that they purposely want to remain stupid. I've heard the excuses ever since 1993 with September 6, which I had no idea was connected with September 6. I just heard the prophets get up and say, no more studying. You're going to turn apostate. You're going to leave the church. And so no more studying. It's now a spiritual witness. Just feel the truth that we tell you to believe. And that shifting resulted in Mormons saying, oh, I don't want to study the scriptures because That's deep doctrine, and I want to focus on the basics, faith and repentance in myself. All the lame-ass excuses for not knowing Mormonism. But nonetheless, here we are. And I see the comparable as this church, because of the Christianity beer goggles, along with Christianity, which includes Islam, are interpreting the scriptures through their lenses. And because of their lens and their particular religion, based on not real Jesus of Constantine, they then believe that mankind get inspired by Jesus to do his will, to force other people's agency to follow him, which we as Mormons know is Lucifer's plan of happiness, and yet Mormons refuse to study. Oh, no, deep doctrine. I'm focusing on the basics, and you're even screwing that up. And so, yes, this is why Islam has risen. They literally believe this is their judgment day, that it's up to them to conquer the world. And so currently, their focus is anger against Israel. But you're witnessing all over the world that Islam is demanding government leaders, those who are not Islamic, to side with them against Israel, threatening them, putting lives in jeopardy, putting elections in jeopardy, and people are losing their honor, losing their integrity, so that they can get votes, so that they won't be murdered by this Islamic terrorist threat. And they claim that they're pro-Palestinian, and that's a lie. They're anti-Israel, anti-Jew. And so nobody seems to want to know and understand this origin, even the uprisers. Purposely not talking that this is their judgment day and they're going to make it happen. Which Christians, likewise, specifically the fundamentalist evangelicals, the extremists, are the ones who are doing that to America. And so we've got all these people who believe that it's their responsibility to do the will of their Jesus upon other people, to force everyone to follow their standards and values. And yet, I read the Book of Mormon, and I go, dear God, it's all right there. They knew that this was what was going to happen. That this isn't just some spur-of-the-moment thing. This was purposely plotted by the enemy. And Mormons, they're fully zombified by the church. And it's scary, literally scary, because it's going to take a big, massive destruction to wake people up from their zombie state, being a puppet for the people pulling their strings, telling them what to believe, how to think, and what to feel. And it's extremely disturbing. and the enemy has kept me from getting through to you. The voices of evil are more dominant in your life. I'm not here to tell you what to do and what to believe and how to think and how to feel. I just point out, hey, the Book of Mormon says it's in the learning of the Jews. That means the Jewish religion, not Christianity. It's the church that's telling you what to believe, how to think, how to feel, and what to do. And you dismiss me, saying that I'm trying to do what the church is trying to do to you, and you prefer being controlled by the church, not realizing you're in bondage to the church. That the whole thing is a scam. And so in the news this morning, I saw that a rabbi is now warning students from all over the United States, at least, if not the world, calling for Jewish students to come home. It is not safe to be a Jew anymore in the world. And so when I heard that, instantly my associative memory kicked in, and I remembered Heber C. Kimball prophesying, if this church is Christian, they're the enemy. Heber C. Kimball claimed this church was Christian. Heber C. Kimball is the enemy. Heber C. Kimball plotted this. And so part of his plot was that the world was supposed to turn on Mormons. And so the day would come when all the Mormon missionaries were to be called home. And so, yeah, during coronavirus, when Nelson shut down the missions, called the missionaries home, I went, Heber C. Kimball's prophecy fulfilled. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. Because Nelson then went, oh crap, we can't fulfill prophecy. Get back out there. Die for Jesus. And sure enough, I did. As I did video after video of the missionaries that unnecessarily died because Nelson forced them back out into the mission field. Even if that, even the one girl who was in Switzerland or whatever, it was her P-Day, and she fell off a mountain. You can say, well, that wasn't because of Nelson. Yes, it was. They had just begun to rise sharply in the number of cases in that mission. I checked. Nelson did not say, we got to call him home then. We got to transfer him to another area that's safer. Nope. Left him out there. She went on her hike and on her P-Day and died. That's on Nelson. Nelson murdered Mormons. And Mormons refused to acknowledge this. That was why I no longer affiliate with the church. It was my bishop in West Valley who said, you're doing videos on the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith that are contrary to the prophets of this church. Why do you bother coming to church? Well, if they're going against the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith, then they're not true prophets. And so I stopped attending church. But there's no way in hell I'm going back after I learned that Brigham Young ordered the murder and assassination of Joseph Smith, paid the Judas price for it. So murder is the thing that convinces me that a person is not true. And so yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all about Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow, Brian David Mitchell, the 8 passengers and the psycho, Hildebrandt, and the asylum here in Utah that had to get shut down because of the psychos. None of that surprises me, because I've learned the truth. You cannot produce good from a bad seed. Brigham Young and his Danites were the bad seed. You cannot produce good from this corrupt church. You must cast off all things Brigham Young, which means Christianity. Got to get rid of it. To fully repent, you've got to cast off all of Christianity and begin to immerse yourself in a study of Judaism, the pre-Babylonian captivity, Jewish Egyptians, New Israelites, or the old Israelites actually. We're supposed to be New Israelites. Mormons refuse to do that. They don't want to apostatize. They don't want to get involved in deep doctrine. They just want to settle for their feelings. They don't want anybody messing with their feelings and getting their feelings hurt. Snowflakes. It's hilarious calling Desnat snowflakes. Seriously, they're terrorists. And they are easily triggered. I remember when I first did videos about Desnat, a whole flood came to view my videos to express their anger and wanting to murder me. YouTube, under orders of the church, went into a panic and had to adjust the algorithms to keep Desnat away from me. And you'd think, oh, they're protecting you, Travis. No, they were under orders of the church to silence me, not make me popular among Mormons so that Mormons can learn that they're supposed to be Jewish. And so, yes, you can see why it would be that the Mormons would be in trouble in the world. Because of the threat of Islam wanting to exterminate the Jews worldwide. And so, yeah, if Mormons go around claiming that they're Jewish, would Mormons deny the gospel of the Jews? Or would they instead say, I am not denying the gospel of Jesus Christ, of Christianity? Yep, Mormons have no integrity and no honor. They think that they're protecting themselves by not studying, remaining ignorant, sticking to feelings, and that's the betrayal of the church. And so, I also saw a person running for U.S. Senate in Missouri. They had a YouTube video, and I don't know when it was, but it caught my attention because it was titled The Mormon War. And so, yeah, I'm curious. This isn't an apostate, anti-Mormon, antichrist horror channel. It's definitely not faith promoting. Who is this? What's going on? What are they talking about? And so, yes, I'm smart enough that if I'm going to tell you that you need to do something, that I myself should be doing it, and thus why I'm telling you to do it, because I'm an actual witness and can testify of the physical reality of its goodness. And so, I'm not going to judge this person's video content on an outward appearance or their nature and character. That would be stupid of me to deny their content because of those frivolous fallacy arguments that are very common among Mormons not wanting to listen to my content. And so I listened. And they or she, I don't know anymore, Go back to science, people. Science. Do not deny science. You do not get special privileges. Science. They're all equal under the law. Stick to that. But regardless, the person pointed out some pre-laws in Missouri that they believe led up to the Mormon War in 1838. But there are certain things that I know as fact. And so when I am looking to find out the credibility of the content, those are the things that I compare it with. Is this going against the facts? And yeah, talking about the Book of Mormon, she was correct that that's why Mormons are called Mormon, is because of the Book of Mormon. However, she called Mormons Christian. Zionist Christians. Oops. Nope. Choose. 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2. Very plain and precious. Right, Benson? I love to mock evil people. That's what Mormons don't understand. Is that all this mocking of the prophets, it's because I know as a fact they're evil and corrupt and criminal. That they originate from this evil organization called the Danites. And Mormons refuse to acknowledge this. They refuse to acknowledge the real history of this church. They refuse to acknowledge the truth from the scriptures. They refuse to recognize the power and authority of prophecy and revelation. They want to follow titles for authority. They have no interest in the power of prophecy and revelation. Mormons deny it, just like the prophets deny it. That's why Mormons deny it. And so yeah, the number one common mistake of priesthood holders when they're giving blessings is, by the power of the Melchizedek priesthood which I hold. Nope. Authority, dumbass. And you don't have the authority anyway. If you're gonna be stupid, you're gonna get laughed at. And just because you don't watch my videos doesn't mean that you're out of condemnation. You already know Benson put you back in condemnation. It hasn't been lifted. And it says to study, I believe. That's what my associate memory is telling me. Let's find out. Let's verify. I could be lying to you. Condemnation. Wow, 157 condemnations? I don't know if it has Book of Mormon in it or if he's alluding to a book that lowered it to 2. Condemned. Yep. Sure enough. Section 84, verse 57. Condemnation. Why aren't you highlighting those? You're supposed to highlight all of those. Oh my hell. Oh, it's because you have a book. Got it. Okay. How far back do we need to go? It's talking about lieth in sin, under darkness and bondage of sin, not acquainted with my voice, you're not of me. And whoso receiveth not my voice is not acquainted with my voice, and is not of me. Duh. And by this you may know the righteous from the wicked. Duh. The whole world groaneth under sin and darkness even now. But talking about Mormons. This is who he's talking to. And yet Mormons allow it as an excuse to get away with what they're doing and feel safe and secure. Dry and secure. Is that arid or extra dry? Those commercials back in the 80s. Arid, extra dry. And your minds in times past have been darkened because of unbelief. You don't believe the Book of Mormon says it's in the learning of the Jews, and so your mind is darkened. You don't see the prophecies and revelations that I do, because you have treated lightly the things you have received. The Book of Mormon, which vanity and unbelief, this is Benson from conference telling us this, quoting, which vanity and unbelief have brought the whole church, there it is, under condemnation. You are not believing the Book of Mormon. This is Joseph. He's talking in the learning of the Jews, remember? All Mormons believe the Book of Mormon is Christian and another testament of Jesus, and this condemnation resteth upon the children of Zion, even all. And they shall remain under this condemnation until they repent and remember the new covenant, even the Book of Mormon. Learning of the Jews. And the former commandments which I have given them, which is the Bible, and the learning of the Jews. Not only to say, but to do. Do or do not. There is no strive. Right, Yoda? That they, Mormons, may bring forth fruit, meat for their Father's kingdom. This is the latter days. What is fruit? It's the results of a seed. We will liken the word unto a seed. You have to produce the physical results of the word, so that you may know the truth. Ta-da! Thus the condemnation, thus the darkness, thus the wickedness, thus the unbelief, thus the sin, thus the unacquainted with my voice. And so verse 40 in the 1838 history, whose voice are you supposed to listen to, Mormons? And so yes, 3 Nephi chapter 7 is the threat to America. Warning Mormons, we need to save America from this threat. It's coming. But if Mormons refuse to listen, if Mormons continue to remain in bondage to this church, then America will fall, as 3 Nephi chapter 7 tells us it will be. It will be divided into nation states. The Confederate nations and those belonging to the church. And then there's a few Dakotas and Montana. Well, Montana, Idaho and Montana, it's split. You got your white supremacists up in that area. So we can lump them all together. And so yes, I'm looking at the map that just came out recently. If the election were held, this is the results. America will fall. The news doesn't see it. The political parties, well, the deep state Dems don't see it. They're helping to promote it, though, siding with Islamic terrorists. But yes, MAGA has been making it very clear. We failed in 2020. We are not failing this time. And here we have Islam to rise up also, because they believe it's their judgment day for Jesus. And so we have Islam, and we have evangelical MAGA white supremacist Christian nationalists all attacking America right now. America is in the Civil War. It's just not the Civil War of our Civil War ancestors. This is a completely new Civil War concept that has never been experienced in the whole history of the universe. And to find out that Romulans, Star Trek, saw that yesterday. Nothing compared to what we are now entering into. And the Danites in 1838 set the pattern for what they were plotting to do right now. America will not stand because Biden will not issue the National Guard and issue martial law. He's too much of a coward as the president and commander-in-chief. I've already tried to communicate with him, warning him he's got to do what his oath of office demands that he do, and he's refusing to do it, and he's catering to the enemy, and it's biting him. And he will not learn from his mistakes. And so, yes, we are all doomed. And so, yeah, this candidate for U.S. Senate did not understand about the Danites. Did not understand that it was the Danites who framed Joseph Smith. That this was a pattern for their plot for right now. Senator Mike Lee, right now. Stewart, Curtis, Cox, all of them descendants of the Danite ancestors who betrayed Joseph. And here they are, rising up. The ones in Arizona, rising up. The ones in Idaho, rising up. Saw again in the news that pregnant women are not able to get health care in Idaho. It was bad enough that they couldn't get abortions in Idaho, but now it's gone to the extreme. There is no OBGYNs for pregnant women in Idaho. There's a major medical crisis in Idaho because of the law that was passed. And the representatives of Mormon southeastern Idaho were a part of that, to have that ban. And so Arizona is now going through it. Texas is going through it. Utah already has been going through it. Did you know that Elizabeth Smart was pregnant? He raped her. It's the natural scientific biological process of seed entering into an egg. She was old enough to get pregnant. What happened to that baby? The news refused to talk about it. Because in Utah, abortion is illegal when it wasn't supposed to be. But the church made sure all Mormon girls who are raped have the rape baby. And then the church would take it to their adoption agency and give it to a good, worthy Mormon couple who are rich and can afford to adopt children. And then be on Jeffrey Epstein's little black book of contacts for raping little girls as well. Right, John Huntsman and wife? us. And so I've been thinking, trying to get myself prepared for whatever may happen. This evening at 6 p.m. is the beginning of Passover. And I've been talking about how Nisan is the religious New Year, and after the religious New Year is Passover. And then the civil New Year, after that New Year, you have the Feast of Tabernacles. It's an exact same pattern match, but one's religious, the other's civil. And both are similar. Moses has the keys of ingathering. Moses is about the Passover of the Exodus. And then you have Tabernacles, sukkot, or ingathering for the civil. They're the exact same thing, symbolized by Moses and the Exodus and the confrontation with Pharaoh to let Mormons go. Because you're using the learning of the Jews, right? You're following Joseph Smith. You believe Joseph Smith, right? No? You've given up on me already? Because you're an unbeliever? Unbelieving Mormons condemned. There we go. Gotta throw that into the title. So Mormons are going to be unhappy. I'm not an unbeliever, you are! Really? And so, yeah, you're Jewish, right? No, Christian. Yeah, unbeliever. No, you are. Stupidity runs deep. And so, yeah, I will expect a further attacks on Jews for Passover, even in Israel. That is to be expected because they're the enemy. They're plotting to do it. But it's the Mormon one that's got me puzzled, because all of the prophecies are talking about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, according to Joseph Smith in section 103, verses 16 and 17. That's the decoder ring for all prophecies of the Jews. And so, yeah, I'm very curious to see what will happen and when it will happen. It's supposed to happen for Passover here, because if it goes to Tabernacles, the whole pattern is ruined. Seriously, the whole pattern is ruined. I've done the videos for you. Everything throughout the whole latter days, everything leading up to the latter days, everything of Brigham Young, every single president of the church, it's clear there is power behind the prophecies that Mormons, if they merely just looked in the learning of the Jews, would see it. And I've been helping you with pictures and charts and memes and all that to have you see it. And if it doesn't happen for Passover, even though we still have May 8th with the pattern, which technically it would have to be even sooner than that, more like the 25th of April. But that's Passover. This is it. And I am struggling with the concept of everything getting fulfilled and then failing to finish. Joseph Smith makes it very clear. Every prophecy will be fulfilled. Everyone. We know America will fall and divide into nation states. 3 Nephi chapter 7 will be fulfilled. It hasn't happened yet. It will be fulfilled. Texas already seceded from the nation. MAGA states have already seceded from the nation. Utah has been seceded from the nation forever. They've never recognized the federal government authority. The church calls them Babylon, telling Mormons to get out of the United States and come to Zion. But only if you're rich. And so, yeah. Things are backlogging on me now. Been talking too long. And so, yeah, I'm having to plan my life for the different scenarios that could happen and for the scenarios that may not happen. I have to plan for all contingencies. And it's very stressful. And so, yeah, I'm not sure what will happen. If it'll just be multiple deaths of prophets that'll cause Mormons to panic. If it'll be the protesting against Israel at BYU and the University of Utah and others around the nation, as Islam and Christians may actually finally read the Book of Mormon and learn, hey, wait a minute, they're Jewish. They're calling themselves Christian. They're clearly Jewish. Get them! I don't know. Maybe the church will get arrested by the FBI finally. And Mormons will be faced with a dilemma. Do we stand up and fight against the FBI to protect the criminal violations of the prophets? Or do we have to confess that Travis was right? God. So my second ex, I'm trying to explain to her that the Book of Mormon is a learning of the Jews. And she just refused. No. Christian, Jesus. And I would get it out of her that the reason why it had to be Jesus Christianity is because she believed that Jewish religion somehow allows for sexual promiscuity. Orgies, swinging, fornication, necking and petting, pregnancy, all pernicious evils. Right, Benson? I'm just, what are you drawing that extremist conclusion for? That's not what I'm talking about. Because we're still technically sealed together, so technically we're still married religiously, so technically we still could have sex under moral Mormon law, but she just got the thinking in her head that if it's not Mormon Christianity, then it's immoral behavior that she's got to commit. She's got to go drinking, she's got to go smoking, got to go whoring, because if this church isn't true, that's what she's got to do. And so she stays Mormon because she doesn't want to do those things. Oh my God. Is that what the church has been telling you? Just learn science. Learn sex ed. Dear God, the whole nation is deprived of sex ed. So yeah, Mormons, you're not listening anymore. You're under condemnation, and you don't care to get out. I've done all these videos numerous times over the years, just different presentations, different titles of the videos. And it's interesting that the multi-thousands of videos that I've done, when I transfer them to a file, I am amazed that only a couple have had the same title.